Welcome in to I Remember My First Time. Oh, don't be nasty, Jacob. Not that first time.
Damn it.
This is a podcast about cinematic awakenings,
I like the sound of that.
where we talk about the movies we love with someone who just popped their cherry to that movie.
I love a good cherry pop.
Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, I hope not.
Do we like shitty movies?
We love shitty movies. Sometimes even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Absolutely not.
But do we love movies?
We do love movies. We love the shit out of movies. In this week's masterpiece, our official Halloween movie. Our episodes come out on Mondays. Halloween's on Monday this year. This is the remake to Sam Rami's 1981 classic, The Evil Dead, the 2013 modern horror classic, Evil Dead.
And I know you're thinking, well, why didn't you guys do the original Evil Dead? Because it's not fucking streaming anywhere.
So eat a dick.
Jacob, they tried to make me go to rehab, and I said, no, no, no.
I can smell your filthy soul.
I am nail gun expert BJ Leica.
Joined as always by me, human skin leather worker, a Jacob Ekus. You put the lotion on the skin.
Or else it gets the hose again.
Let's get started, bro. Evil Dead. Before we dive into what this movie's about, I just want everybody to know that it took me the entire month of October to convince you to watch this movie. Because you didn't want to do this because you hadn't seen the original Evil Dead, and I haven't either.
You haven't seen the original Evil Dead?
No, I have not.
As much as you like Sam Raimi and as much as you like horror movies.
I've never been around someone that had the movie. I've never owned it, and it's never been streaming.
So if anybody listening has a DVD,
send it this way. But I saw this movie in theaters. We'll get to that later, and I knew this would be a good Halloween horror movie. And you were like, no.
It was the remake that was scaring me.
Yes.
I'm not gonna. That was the sole thing that I was worried about.
And we'll get into it, but we're both glad we watched this movie. BJ, why don't you tell us what this movie was about?
Hulu describes it as 5 friends have found the mysterious and fiercely powerful Book of the Dead, which releases a violent demon on a bloodthirsty quest to possess them all.
That's pretty good.
It's 5 20-somethings in a cabin in the woods.
Yep.
That's where bad shit happens.
All the time.
6.5 out of 10 is what IMDb has this movie rated.
As a horror movie, I'm not surprised by that.
63% Rotten Tomato score.
Not surprised by that being a horror movie either.
And 57% Metacritic score.
Wow, that's higher than I thought it would be. What did The Hitcher have last week? Like 36?
38 or 36, somewhere in there. Somewhere in the 30s.
I would have assumed it'd be right around there.
I kind of would too, especially a horror movie that doesn't try to make a point, doesn't really do anything different. It just kind of exists as a horror movie. Well, I know critics hate that shit.
It's like you told me right as soon as you finished watching the movie, this literally had every single horror trope in it.
Every one of them.
They didn't try to do anything new.
No.
They just tried to make a badass horror movie, and they fucking did.
Yeah. Our guy Roger Ebert died in 2013, the year this movie came out. But we have his partner in crime, Richard Roper's review. You want to guess, or it's not going to count for or against you, but if you want to guess.
I'm going to guess he didn't like it.
1 star from Richard Roper. For some 30 years now, small clusters of movie teenagers have made the journey to various cabins in various woods. I mean, yeah.
Yep.
He's not wrong. The return ratio for such trips is 1 surviving, bloodied, traumatized, hospitalized teenager for every 10 dead friends left behind. For every clever remake or freshly twisted spin, there are innumerable gore fest with nothing original to say.
Okay.
He says, on its own, this is an irredeemable, sadistic torture chamber revealing in the bloody, cringe-inducing deaths of some of the stupidest people to ever spend a rainy night in a remote cabin.
The only person I thought was stupid was the high school science teacher.
And that's just in horror movies. There's the 90. He said 90% of the friends die. 90% of people in horror movies are idiots.
Yes, and I didn't feel that in this movie. I didn't think anybody was an idiot, besides the numbnuts high school science teacher.
Yeah.
Like, how many fucking warning signs do you need? But we'll get to it.
And we'll get to him. I got some stuff to say about him. Save for a few darkly funny one-liners, there's almost no wicked humor here. The characters they're playing are such one-dimensional idiots, you begin rooting for the demonic she-bitch from hell to take them out. Yes, he refers to several times in this review as the demonic she-bitch from hell.
That's awesome. That's a t-shirt idea.
Yeah, I don't know if he... I'm not going to do that, because that's his words. I'm not going to steal from Richard Groper.
Okay. I think it's a great idea, but whatever.
He ends the review. I love horror films that truly shock, scare, and provoke. But after 30 years of this stuff, I'm bored to death and sick to death of movies that seem to have one goal. How can we gross out the audience by torturing nearly every major character in the movie? So I haven't looked it up, but I'm assuming he's probably a big fan of the Jordan Peele type movies that have been released recently.
Probably. I can see that.
Because there was a long stretch where horror movies had absolutely nothing to say.
Yeah. But they've never really had much to say to begin with.
That's true. A couple of them do.
Yeah, but that's not why I watch horror films.
Yeah, like I would say Halloween's not saying anything. Nightmare on Elm Street's not saying anything. Friday the 13th's not saying anything.
The Hitcher's not saying anything.
No.
But yeah, for the most part, horror movies don't say much. But I mean, I get it, because it's nice when movies, even when a genre movie doesn't say much, and then you get some like Jordan Peele or whatever that are saying something, you're like, this is cool.
Yeah.
BJ, do you think this movie was popular or unpopular?
I'm going to say not that popular because I didn't know it existed.
Oh, man, you were wrong. It had a $17 million budget.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Worldwide, it brought in $97.5 million.
Ooh. With inflation, this is over $100 million movie.
Yes.
Dang.
52.2 million domestically, 43.3 million internationally. So it had a good international run too.
How did I not hear of it?
I have no idea.
Is that just one of my movie dark periods?
I think so.
2013,
yeah,
probably.
2013, you were finishing out your master's.
Yeah, hard of grad school, working a 30-hour, 35-hour a week job.
You weren't watching TV or movies.
No.
The only TV you were watching is Office reruns whenever I'd come over and hang out.
Pretty much. So that's probably what that was. That was a movie dark period for me.
I knew this movie. I watched the Red Band trailer before this movie came out. I was excited as fuck. And I saw it in theaters. But we'll get there. But yeah, this movie made a killing in the box office. That's really all I have to say. It's not a cult classic. It's just a modern classic.
Sure.
Movie review. You're the virgin of the pod. Why don't you tell me what you thought about the movie?
I would say about this movie, it's essentially the Expendables for horror movies. Now, not in terms of, the big time actors and that sort of thing.
No, I know what you mean, but that's continue. I think that's a really good description.
But just in terms of, look, you like horror movies? Here's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Just like the Expendable was like, guess what? Guess what you're going to get? A lot of shit blowing up and a lot of people kicking ass. And this movie's like, you're going to get grossed out. You're going to get creeped out. There's going to be jump scares. There's going to be gore. There's going to be violence. It's just a horror movie with just about every horror trope ever invented put in it. Enjoy.
Yep. So you liked it?
Yeah.
My review is, it seconds yours. I never thought of it that way, but now that you say it, that's an incredible way to describe this movie. My review of this movie is that it's just awesome. And it's awesome because it's the Expendables of horror. I fucking love the Expendables. Like, I wanted to watch a badass horror movie, and I've seen this movie 3 times, and all 3 times, it's been bad fucking ass.
Yeah, and I was really upset because I really wanted an Ebert review for this movie because there's certain things that he likes about movies. Character development is a big one. Originality is a big one. This movie has neither of those, but it has something that Roger Ebert loves, which is a movie that is not pretending to be anything other than what it is.
If Ebert had seen this movie and wrote a review, my vote would have been that he liked it.
I think it would have been a mid. Like, I think he would have given it 2 or 2.5 stars.
What's a thumbs up from 2.5?
3.
3? I would still count 2.5 as him liking it.
Yeah.
Because that's more than half.
Right.
Tell me what you liked about the movie.
I liked that it had no intentions of being anything other than just a scare fest, which is kind of what I want in a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Halloween time of year, scary movie. I just want to watch a movie and I want to be scared. And this movie absolutely accomplished that.
I loved how grossed out and scared I am in this movie. The first time I watched this movie, like any good horror movie after watching the trailer, I didn't want to go see it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see it. I know that I'm going to go see it. But then as I'm buying the ticket or whatever, I get a little nervous. I get a little anxious. I'm like, this is going to be fucking intense.
In 2013, you're like, am I wasting my $9?
No, not necessarily. In 2013, I'm just like, is this actually going to scare me? Like, I'm a little anxious that this is going to be that good. And the second time I watched this movie, I thought the same thing. And the third time I didn't, because, I mean, now I've seen it. Now this is my third time. But the fact that I had that feeling 2 times and just even having that feeling once. And I love that all practical effects for the most part. Like very, very, very little CGI.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But I knew that going into the movie in 2013, which is why I bring it up now. And I love that about this movie.
Now, do you get nightmares from horror movies ever?
No.
Okay. I don't either. I was curious if this one was scary enough to give someone who has nightmares about horror movies nightmares.
No, yeah. I wish I had nightmares because that would mean I dream, and I don't dream either. And even when I had nightmares, I never got scared of them because I'm just like, this is like a movie that I'm in. This is awesome. I don't give a shit how this goes.
You're like the kid from Last Action Hero?
Exactly. What did you not like about the movie?
There's 2 things that really stood out to me. The first one, this is not meant to be misogynistic in any way. If you're going to give me a rated R, a hard R, with people that are clearly not teenagers, they're clearly in their 20s.
So we'll get to this a little later, but not only hard R, they were committed to an NC-17 rating, and the studio forced them to do an R or they weren't going to release it. So just to further your point, I don't know where you're going, but keep going.
Where I'm going is show me a couple pair of titties.
That's a horror movie trope they didn't have.
I know.
They didn't have everyone.
I waited the entire movie to see a pair.
Because
I was like, for sure, as violent as this movie is, the fact that they made them 20-somethings and not teenagers, they're going to show something. They're going to show some titties. They're going to show some male ass, something.
You know, this being my third time watching this movie, I never thought of that. But that totally dropped the ball there.
Yeah.
Like, show me some tits.
Yeah.
Were you looking for it the whole time?
The whole time.
Up until the very end.
Up until the very end. I was like, how are they going to shoehorn this in at the very end? It's like, no, it's going to be a weird place to put this, but certainly they're going to do it.
Okay. You said there were 2 things.
The second thing is Roper kind of touched on it in the review that I read, where he mentioned the couple of lines of humor. I don't understand that. Don't give me 2 or 3 jokes. Give me 0 or give me 8 or 9.
So give our audience an example of these couple lines that they did.
At one point, after the demonic she-bitch from hell slits her tongue, she asked the main character, David, "Come over here, boy, and let me suck your cock."
Okay, yep.
You know, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
There was a couple other ones. I don't remember the exact lines off the top of my head or the exact.
You're talking specifically
moments.
About the demon bitch from hell, though.
Just any humorous lines.
Okay.
Or any kind of nod, Scream probably has a dozen of those jokes in, and it works really well. I just find it odd that there's 3. I feel like there's always either 0 or 8.
Okay. And you feel like they should have either not done it at all or go all in.
Yes, one or the other.
So
this toe in the water thing was weird. Was weird for me.
Up to this point, there's nothing that I didn't like about this movie. But now that you say your first point, they should have showed me some tits. I don't like that about this movie. That is a horror movie trope that needed to be in here.
Yeah.
The humor thing, though, I liked how much they put in this because they weren't really going for that. So they did it just enough to pay homage, but not really even make it funny. And I was okay with all that because I've watched enough horror movies and have read enough religious stuff to know that demons do some crazy, wild shit. I remember, here's a first-time story. This is one of my favorite first-time movie stories. I'm sitting in this theater, and David's girlfriend comes to after going ham with the nail gun. She's cut off her arm, hand with the nail gun, and she has nails all in her face.
Uh-huh.
And she's just like, why does my face hurt?
Yeah.
Why does my face hurt so bad? And I start dying. I am cracking the fuck up in this theater. And I guess people like you, but also not knowing that humor is part of horror.
I found that funny. I found that very funny.
I know you did, but I'm saying like people like you that like, and I mean that in the sense that like they didn't realize that horror was or comedy was part of horror at all. Mm-hmm. And then this just popped up and they didn't expect it, and I'm cracking up, and they were visibly uncomfortable for the rest of the movie sitting by me because they were like, "What kind of sick fuck is this?"
Right, but no, that was intentionally humorous.
Yes. Was it a good or bad movie? Was that a weird transition? Because there's nothing else I don't like about this movie. Because I even like that part of it.
No, I'm okay. We'll get to some of the like nitpicky, character-y stuff.
Okay, cool.
Later, but I think that's good for now.
Okay, so was it a good movie or a bad movie?
It was a good movie because it accomplished what it needed to accomplish, which was to scare me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this was a great movie. It's one of my favorites. I love watching this movie. It's so much fun for me. Now we're into the thick of it, BJ. Mount Rushmore of scenes.
How thick?
Real thick. So thick, just because we talked about it today, we could also call this, if we ever wanted to do 6 scenes in a movie, we have a really long movie like a Tarantino, we can call it the 6 Grandfathers. Because that's what Mount Rushmore was called by the Lakota before white people carved 4 white dudes' faces into it.
Oops. A very spiritual site as well.
Yes. But yeah, that's cool. We can do this with 6 scenes sometimes. Anyways, what's your number 1 favorite scene, BJ?
My 4th favorite scene.
That's what I meant.
I got you. Well, I got you. We all make mistakes. My 4th favorite scene is, I'm sorry, I do not know the actress's name or the character's name. I will refer to as when the nurse turns into the evil she-bitch from hell.
Okay.
The Joker style cut in the face.
What incredible makeup.
The math teacher using the back of the toilet seat as a weapon to just go ham on one of his best friends. I thought it was scary. I thought it looked cool. I thought it was a good kind of tone setter in, there's more than one person being possessed here.
Yeah. Just to give her credence, that was Jessica Lucas as Olivia.
Good looking actress.
Yeah, very pretty. But you can keep calling her the nurse. That's okay. Because I will also call her the nurse. I just wanted to give her due. My 4th favorite scene is the opening scene. I remember sitting there in the theaters and it just opening with that and being like, what the fuck? And it did not take long for them to reach that height again. We've had a horror movie, Nightmare on Elm Street, where it started really strong and had one of those opening scenes that immediately hooks you and then never gets back there ever again.
It does get back there in this movie.
Yes, it does.
And this is actually my 3rd favorite scene.
Okay.
And I love this trick, especially a movie like that where it's a straight horror movie. You're going to be scared, but we got to set some shit up real quick.
Yeah.
To start it off with a scene that intense, so it gives it that 15 or 20 minutes to breathe after that. Because the whole time you're like, okay, I know what they can do.
Yeah. I know where we're going.
It's going to get there. I love that trick.
Yeah. I will rip your soul from your body. Loved it. And then we get to see the demon's eyes. It very cool scene. You already did your number 3 scene. My number 3 scene, I call it the meat carver scene.
Okay.
where she takes the meat carver and cuts off her hand.
Ah, okay. All right.
And the demon is just, don't do it, you little bitch. Don't cut it off. Like, one of those lines that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
That was just so intense. Watching that in the theater and just watching her go ham with this meat carver on her. Like, after her squeezing the fucking shit out that when she got the bite. Oh my God, amazing. I take this scene through her shooting herself in the face with the nail gun and complaining that her face hurts.
Yeah.
So in this scene, we have the nail gun just going ham on Eric's arm and him just getting nail after nail and then getting stabbed in the eye with the needle.
That was painful looking.
That was hard to watch. It's been hard to watch all 3 times I've seen this movie. The fire rod just breaking his hand in 2. The makeup in this movie is incredible. But yeah, that's my 3rd favorite scene. Just so fucking intense.
My 2nd favorite scene is the final a la Carrie raining of blood from the sky. You get a chainsaw, you get a machete, you get hiding under the car, just trope after trope after trope.
We're going to go back real quick to my 3rd favorite scene just because you said chainsaw and I didn't call the shotgun the boomstick. Wanted to call the shotgun the boomstick. Because we get the chainsaw reference to the original Evil Dead. Keep going, I'm sorry.
It's trope after trope after trope, and I love it. And she cuts the demon in half, hot dog style.
Yes,
with the chainsaw.
Incredible, and the blood already raining from the sky, and then we get so much more blood coming from the demon's head. Was incredible.
It was the exact right ending for a movie that's trying to do what this is trying to do.
Yes, 100%. My 2nd favorite scene, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is your 1st favorite scene. By limb, I mean the tree rape scene.
That's what happens, right? Like, I wasn't seeing things.
No, that tree raped her.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it entered her body through her vagina. I was trying to say something else.
I couldn't tell. It might have been the asshole. We don't know.
Whoa. So I start this scene with him reading out of the book.
That's probably where it starts. And the math teacher that's reading out of the book and essentially brings the demon to life.
What he says is Kunda Astrada Montes Canda. Let's hope I didn't start no shit.
No, that's a good place to start it because that's what sets the wheels in motion for all of this.
And how many fucking warnings do you need? Leave this book alone. Burn it. Shatter their bones. Don't say it. Don't write it. Don't hear it. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, you're a teacher, man. You're smarter than this.
Like, come on. And I loved Mia being in the car, trying to drive away, getting the fuck out, and then the demon just showing up, wrecking the car. And then we have the tree rape scene, which is one of the most intense, crazy fucking scenes I've ever seen in movies.
It's wild.
Shot so well. Again, this fucking makeup in this movie is fucking nuts.
The idea of having the withdrawal symptoms from the character who gets first possessed is a damn good choice.
Yes. And you also have a good chase segment in this scene. Another aspect of the scene that I like. And I end this scene with that really intense moment when David and Mia are in the room and she's whispering, "You have to get me out of here. You don't understand. There's something in the woods, David, and it's in here with us now." And I end it right there.
Yeah.
I don't even wait till David leaves the room. It ends with her saying now. Because it's just so fucking intense.
And like I said, that's the brilliance of the druggie withdrawal, has tried this before, is going to try anything. Is this real? Is this not? Great scene. It's such a good scene.
And that's all I have to say. So that's your number one scene.
Yeah, for sure.
We've already killed it. My number one scene is your number 2 scene.
The end, the finale.
Yeah, the finale. Yeah. The raining blood, the chainsaw. I loved her being in the tunnel. I loved how intense her adrenaline was and being able to, like, still get quite a bit of the gas in the chainsaw. Because I thought that was relatively realistic. Because, like, when shit's going down, your body's on another fucking level.
Man, me and pull starts, it always takes a couple.
Yeah, that was
Always
crazy.
takes a couple.
That was crazy that she just got it while sitting down too. Like, no, I had to be standing up to start a pull start chainsaw.
That was a big chainsaw
Yes.
too.
Feast on This Motherfucker was said in this. So many good things. But before I leave this scene, just like with the meat carver scene, watching the bone and the ligaments in the skin rip away from the other part of her hand as she's pulling her hand out from the Jeep
Tremendous makeup work again.
blew my fucking mind. And watching that on the big screen in theaters was so fucking cool. It was so fucking cool. I love this movie. Yeah, it's Mount Rushmore scenes. Any honorable mentions? The only honorable mention I have is your fourth favorite scene. I didn't mention the nurse, but that obviously makes my honorable mentions.
The whole nail gun fight was kind of cool. Even though I guess it was a magical nail gun because there was not a battery on it. It was not plugged in, and it was not connected to an air hose. And you can't one-handed shoot nail guns.
You can back then.
No. I think even back then they had you had to pull the safety.
No, not
The new ones, you actually have to have it pressing against something to go.
Not in 2013. Like, that nail gun looked like it was
No,
from the
I
80s.
know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Like even back then, you still had the little safety lock thing that you had to pull, and you had to pull that back and pull the trigger. The new ones, it knows that you're putting force on something to go off, but doesn't mean it wasn't fun.
Yeah, no, the nail gun scene was too fucking cool. I don't care how they made it work. At least they made it an old nail gun, so it makes it more believable. Because if it was a brand new one, it'd be like, fuck you. Fuck you.
It wasn't hooked up to air or electricity.
I know, but it was believable in the moment because it was an old nail gun.
Okay,
I didn't question it. Everything was so intense. They didn't pull out a new nail gun, and I was just like, yeah, this
ton of tools in this old abandoned cabin, by the way.
Well, the cabin's not super old because they used to go there for family vacations. My grandparents used to own a cabin in the middle of butt fucking nowhere, northern Arkansas, and he had chainsaws and stuff up there for whenever they went up there like once a month. So, not weird. Movie related talk.
Your favorite horror movie tropes. Do you have favorite ones? Do you have least favorite ones? Because this movie has them all.
Why don't you go first?
So I have to say, my favorite horror movies are Cabin in the Woods movies. You can't beat a Cabin in the Wood in terms of being scary as fuck.
Have you seen the movie The Cabin in the Woods?
I have not.
We'll be doing that very soon.
Okay.
Don't look anything up about it.
I would have to say that's my favorite. My least favorite, even though it works in this movie.
It's so funny that you haven't seen the original Evil Dead 2. Sam Rami, we are both in eternal debt to you. Sorry, we have not seen your original masterpiece.
My least favorite, it works in this movie, but blood raining from the sky, I've always kind of found that more humorous than like scary or anything. And I've always kind of questioned, what's the fucking point?
You didn't question that in this movie, though.
No, because they gave enough of the like horror trope, wink, wink, nudge, nudges.
Yeah.
That I thought they were going for humor. Because it's been raining the whole time. Now it's just raining red.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. My favorite horror movie trope is how dumb everyone is.
Yeah.
There's no other way horror movies make sense. You can't do it. Everyone's smarter than that. I love how dumb everyone is in horror movies. It makes everything else work. And when I watch a horror movie, I totally expect it.
Yeah. Not only do you expect it, you want it, don't you?
Yes. My least favorite horror movie trope, ironically, this scene made it on my Mount Rushmore, is rape scenes.
Yeah, because it was a tree or a vine.
It was still fucking intense, but like I feel that I can get just as much out of you insinuating the start of a rape than me watching a 2 to 3 minute rape scene.
Oh yeah, I fully understand.
Or even 30 seconds. Like, you can insinuate what's going to happen, and then you can come back to it right as it ends if you want to.
Sure. Yes.
So I have seen movies like this movie it worked in. Another movie is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I've seen movies where a rape scene does work in it. I would say 99% of the time, that is my least favorite trope.
Well, the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, you have to have it for the revenge scene.
Yes, and that's why it worked.
Right.
So, but I love horror movie tropes. horror movies up there with action movies are the genre movies that have the most tropes into them, and they're so much fun.
Shout out to machetes, chainsaws, and nail guns that all get used in horror movies and all get used in this one.
And shotguns.
Yeah, shotguns too. No one ever uses a rifle or a handgun in a horror
No,
movie.
it's because shotguns have that bit wide range.
Yeah.
Have a bigger fucking target.
Yeah, but at that point you're using whatever you can get your hands on.
But that's fucking true.
While we're on this topic, it's adjacent to this topic, I guess. In Nightmare on Elm Street, I had a real issue with we didn't understand the rules of Freddy, and the rules of Freddy were never understood. In a possession movie, I know there are no fucking rules. No. They're possessed by demons.
Yep.
So if you're like, oh, he's being inconsistent. No, I'm not being inconsistent. In here, it's a possession movie.
Yeah, and there were 3 rules. They happened very quick. You got to bury them alive, chop their head off, or do something else. There didn't need to be any explanation.
Well, that's how it dies. There's no explanation of what it actually does, I don't need it because it's a possession.
But those are still rules, and it's just slapped real quick, and it's just like, cool. I don't need any explanation, nothing. Another good example of possession movies and not giving a shit about the rules is Denzel Washington's movie Fallen. You ever seen that with John Goodman?
No.
Incredible movie. We'll watch that at some point. Character breakdown.
I know 2 characters' names in the movie. None of the actors' names.
Okay, which 2 characters do you know the names of?
Mia and her brother Danny.
You know one character's name. It's Mia and David.
That's right. It is. Because I thought every time Mia said David, it sounded like Schitt's Creek.
David!
Ew, David. David, don't let me leave.
Oh my God, David.
I should have known that because it did sound like that every time they said it. I'm gonna have it in my head.
Darn it! I'm gonna have to watch this movie a 4th time to get my Schitt's Creek out of it too. So we'll start with Danny / David.
It's David. I was wrong.
We'll start with David. David is, if we're to look at the original, he is the Bruce Campbell of the movie. The director clearly went a different route. Because this is not a Bruce Campbell type character.
No, because this is, I mean, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Like straight up, he's an asshole.
So was Bruce Campbell, but Bruce Campbell was charismatic and likable. David was not.
No. And I think that was the role. That's not the actor's fault. That was the role.
Oh, 100%.
That he didn't, he didn't see his mom when she was ill in the hospital. He doesn't really stay in touch with his high school friends or his sister.
I wanted to say this earlier. David gave Mia the necklace of the buckthorn tree because it makes your will stronger. I just wanted to say that for your benefit.
Yeah, I know.
Because I know you hate shit like that.
But that was kind of a sweet moment where she was like, I didn't think you believed in this shit.
And pure asshole, I don't, but you do.
Yeah.
This is where you say, yeah, but you do. You don't even have to say I don't. You say, yeah, but you do.
But despite, him being that asshole, 25 minutes into the movie, you completely forget about it and don't give a shit about that the rest of the movie.
No, and he played the asshole part good, but he also played the caring brother good. He clearly cares about his sister.
Right.
So
he was scared. His mom was experiencing, I don't know if it was Alzheimer's or what it was, but she was in bad health for a long time. He was young. He was scared. He didn't want to. He was a coward.
Yeah, but he's trying to be there now. It was a good character. I liked it.
I did too.
Mia. I liked Mia.
I thought she was the best part.
Without a doubt, she was the best part of this movie.
Right.
She was incredible. I want to see her in more horror movies.
I wish she was more Mia than She-Bitch from Hell. I would have liked to see that ratio kind of get cleaned up a little bit.
Okay.
But it still wasn't bad, and she was fantastic in this movie.
I liked the ratio. I thought the ratio was good. But yeah, no matter if she was She-Bitch from Hell or Mia, no matter what she was doing, she was incredible. Loved her. The nurse.
Olivia.
She's hot.
She wore the obligatory white tank top in this movie too.
And we love the white tank top trope.
The white tank top is awesome.
Man, if you don't believe us, go buy your girlfriend, wives, whatever. Go buy them a white tank top and be like, hey, I got you something.
Side pieces, whatever.
Get him the white tank top.
The Michelle Rodriguez special.
I wish, and this isn't something that you brought up yet, but you said it earlier today that the characters died in the wrong order.
Yes, because I thought of take the two main characters, the brother and sister out. I thought she was the best of the friend group, and she was the first to die.
Yeah.
And I didn't. It was essentially the opposite order of how interested I was in that character.
Right. She should have been the one that clawed off her arm and
yes,
did the nail gun.
Yes,
that should have been her.
Right, and that scene probably would have taken the place of my number 4 scene had it been her. But I liked that actress a lot better. That's probably why her demonic she-bitch from hell scene made my list and the girlfriends didn't.
She did a really good job being possessed and everything. Like, really good. Jessica Lucas, great portrayal as Olivia.
But before we get started, can you imagine you're dating someone? I don't know how long they've been dating, but you've never met their family. And they're like, hey, come back and meet my family. We're going to be doing a little cabin in the woods type thing. Okay, cool. And then you go there, and it turns out the whole point of this trip to meet their friends and family is so his sister can go through withdrawals. Fuck that.
I'm leaving.
I'm like, no, I'm not sitting through this. Yeah, I'm out.
I'm leaving. I wouldn't have died because I'd have left.
Yeah, I'd have been like, I'm not spending the weekend with you and your friends to watch your sister get sober, who I've never met before and care nothing about. Call me when you get back. I'm all for you doing this. I don't want her to ruin her life with drugs, but what an awkward fucking situation.
Yeah, right. Like I even want you to stay here. That's your sister.
Right. I want you to do this. Yeah. I'm not going to be a part of it because I don't know this person.
That trope that I like so much of everyone just being stupid as hell.
Right.
To give this actor credence, her name is Elizabeth Blackmore.
Oh, I didn't have a problem with her performance at
all.
No,
I know.
All the performances were pretty good.
I just, because we don't know their names.
Right.
I just want to give her credence. Great with the nail gun. Great with all the shit in her face. And I can't imagine what it's like to film a scene where you're chopping off your arm.
And I don't even know how you do that.
And there's no special effects. I mean, there's no CGI.
Obviously there are special effects. Yeah. She wasn't like, yeah, I'll take this role. I'll cut my arm off for it.
Yeah, I'm in it. Take that, Daniel Day-Lewis.
That's method as fuck. Only one character left to get to.
The teacher.
So much like I was waiting for boobs the entire movie, I was waiting for him to show an ounce of remorse because it's your fault they released the demon, bro. And he seemed to not emotionally connect with the fact that he was the one that released the demon. And I don't understand why. You could have added 90 seconds of him feeling bad about it, feeling like I should be the one to die. I killed my friend and it's my fault because I released the she-bitch from hell. And he never did. And I did not understand that.
I didn't like that part. You know what? I'll go ahead and throw that back into the first part of the episode. I don't like that about this movie because I hated that about his character.
I wanted to save it to character breakdown because I think it's more interesting to talk about here.
Yeah, but I just want to say that I didn't like that about this movie because he did try to portray an air of I'm not a pretentious douche, David is.
Right.
But you're the one that was a pretentious douche.
And never showed any remorse for what he did.
His name is Lou Taylor Pucci. At least I hope you say Pucci that way. Pucci. It's Italian.
Pussy.
Pussy's so much better. And yes, you can make fun of Italians. Was it Germans, Italians, and
UK?
UK, yeah. Along with Americans, of course. BJ.
What?
How much trivia do you think I have for this movie?
You seem to always have more in the like remake series type stuff. In horror movies, especially one that didn't use CGI, I'm thinking there's a lot.
There is a lot. We're gonna bust through this. So I have it split up in 3 different. I have original movie trivia, remake trivia, and then our movie trivia.
Start off with the original, the Sam Rami stuff.
The illustration of the abomination in the Natrum Demento is based on the poster artwork for the original film, The Evil Dead.
All right.
The
little nod.
Yeah.
Little nod. Okay, cool.
In one scene, there are cards spread out on the table. The cards are laid out in the order that Cheryl reads them in the original Evil Dead.
All right.
The, quote, "you are all going to die tonight" scene has an overlay during Mia's screaming of the "one by one we will take you" demonic voice from the original film, which is one of the director's many nods to the original. When Olivia chastises Eric for his attitude towards David's absence in Mia's life, stating "he's here now," Eric responds with a deadpan, "yeah, truly amazing." This is one of Ash's lines from the first Evil Dead. Another homage to the original is David and Eric's overshirts are very similar to Ash and Scott's blue chambray and blue, brown, and white plaid shirts they wore.
Yeah, cabin attire hadn't changed much.
No.
It's flannels and jeans.
As it always will be.
Yeah.
At the end of the film, towards the end of the credits, you can hear a man talking about his experience of having opened and read the spell in the Book of the Dead. This exact track is from the cassette recording of the original film when the book is first found along with the cassette player. And I didn't even notice that this time. When Eric is first reading through the Book of the Dead, there is a picture of a severed hand with its middle finger extended, flipping the bird. This is a clear reference to Evil Dead 2, where Ash is forced to cut off his own hand off when it becomes possessed by the Evil Dead. The hand then taunts Ash with a gesture as he attempts to shoot it.
See, that's funny.
Yeah. This film answers one of the most long debated questions of the original trilogy as to whether Evil Dead 2 is a remake or a sequel. When Eric attempts to destroy the book, he realizes that the book doesn't burn. If this film follows the same continuity logic as the original, it would mean that when Ash burnt the original Necromoson, he did not destroy it, he merely thought he did. There are two situations in this film similar to Ash removing his hand in the original. When Natalie cuts off her arm to prevent the possession, and when Mia rips hers off with the Jeep.
With the Jeeps smashing it, yeah.
David ventures down the cellar to reclaim Mia from the clutches of the Evil Dead in the homage to Ash's first encounter with a Deadite, an army of darkness. The cellar is partially flooded, and it's all round gloominess mirrors the well Ash fights in. Mia also appears to launch herself at David in quick, savage bursts, much like how the female Deadite lunges at Ash.
Lots of cat tips to the
yeah. So now this is all my remake stuff. When producer Rob Tabbert suggested the possibility of an Evil Dead remake to Sam Rami and Bruce Campbell, Rami responded the most favorably, whereas Campbell was the least enthusiastic of the three. Rami thought that The Evil Dead was exactly the sort of film that could be successfully updated and reimagined by a new generation of filmmakers, while Campbell was not happy to pass on his iconic role of Ash. He relented when he heard that the film would feature a new set of characters and the role of Ash would not be recast.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Although he has a background in CGI, director Fred Alvarez chose to go with practical effects for the film's visuals, mainly out of tribute to what Sam Rami achieved on a very limited budget back in 1980.
Probably the best decision they could have made.
Yes. The film was originally rated NC-17 until it was toned down to an R rating. According to the director, he and Sam Rami were always willing to keep the NC-17 rating since the original film has it. However, the studio required that it have an R rating in order to have a wide release.
So again, that's probably why this movie's not streaming anywhere and isn't easy to find, the original, because it's NC-17.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but you're probably right. Mia can be seen wearing a Michigan State sweatshirt in the original version. The main character also wears a Michigan State sweatshirt in the opening scene. This is also homage to original series director Sam Rami, who is from Michigan. The film primarily used practical special effects, much like the original film. However, CGI was used to add fire and remove wires and equipment used for special effects. Many fans of the series feared that since this was a remake, it would resort to CGI rather than practical effects. And the tongue-cutting scene was CGI.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That was the only, other than removing wires and fire and stuff. Yeah, so like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragoned it.
Yep. Director Fred Alvarez posted an original ending on a social media that's part of the film's 9th anniversary, which revealed Mia being attacked in a POV that was a deliberate callback to the end of The Evil Dead and shows more from the first draft that Mia being killed with gallons of her blood and guts. Sam Rami wisely pointed out and told Alvarez that after everything she's been through, she deserves to live, and rewrote it to the actual ending and did state that Jane Levy let out one of her best screams in the movie on this take. I'd kind of like to see the POV of her dying too, though. I want to see that ending.
Well, they said it's out there. Go check it out.
All right, this is my normal movie trivia, and then we'll be done. But so far, pretty wicked cool trivia.
Yeah.
A plot hole is present in the theatrical cut where the abomination rises from hell to kill Mia after David blows up the cabin, killing him in the Deadite version of Eric. The Necromon states that the abomination needs to claim 5 souls before it can rise. In the theatrical cut, only 4 characters were possessed at the time of their deaths, leaving one wondering who the 5th soul was, as David seemingly died as himself.
I assumed that the Deadite Eric got David.
Yeah, that's what I assumed too.
I mean, they didn't show it, but I assumed that.
Harold's daughter could not have been the first out of 5 souls, as she had long since died before the events of the film. This plot hole was fixed in the director's cut, which restores a scene showing David as he's burning alive with the Deadite Eric in the cabin, getting possessed by a Deadite before his death, meaning he was ultimately the 5th soul claimed for the abomination to arise. Which we came to that conclusion without, that's how it happened.
Yeah.
95% of the remake was shot in chronological order. This was done because a lot of the film takes place in a controlled environment and the level of blood and violence gets worse and worse as the film progresses. By shooting in order, the filmmakers can throw blood on the walls and not worry we'll mess up another shot when it's needed to be clean.
Yep.
Thought that was cool.
Yeah.
According to reports in the press, the film used 70,000 gallons of fake blood. In an interview, Alvarez said that they used 50 gallons for the final scene alone, compared to the 200 to 300 gallons used in the original.
Wait. No. He had to use more than 50 in the final scene.
No, just 50,000.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. It was literally raining blood.
He used 70,000 total, 50 in the last scene alone, which is crazy compared to the original. If you take the first letters of the main characters, David, Eric, Mia, Olivia, Natalie, the letters spell out demon.
I wouldn't have got that because I didn't know the characters' names. I'm like nurse, teacher.
You should watch this TV show because it's fucking incredible. I've seen it. I haven't finished the last season. Before they moved on to make Ash vs. the Evil Dead in 2015, Sam Rami, Rob Tabbert, and Bruce Campbell confirmed that this film is set in the same continuity as the original trilogy, and their plan was to make Army of Darkness 2, a sequel to this film starring Mia in one final film where Ash and Mia teaming up to fight Deadites. Since Universal Studios passed on Army of Darkness 2, with Ash's adventures now being told in Ash vs. Evil Dead, the sequel to this film appearing to have been shelved, it is doubtful that team-up will ever happen, and I'm upset as shit.
Yeah, it's essentially a zombie movie at that point.
I want to fucking see that. Yeah. The film was banned in the Ukraine for its extreme violence. Many of the clips shown in the preceding trailers were either not used in the actual movie or altered in the film. Some of the cast have 3-hour makeup sessions and then an hour or more to get out of it.
Ugh.
The director got this job from the writing and directing the remake by the strength of his 5-minute short Panic Attack, which had become a YouTube hit by word of mouth. So I want to watch that now. The third Evil Dead film to use the iconic chainsaw and double-barrel shotgun, aka boomstick. If you pause the opening witch burning scene at 2 minutes and 25 seconds, you can see the face of the angry demon over the flames.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was the dog the 5th soul?
No. Because they just killed that fucker.
That was fucked up.
Yeah. That was crazy. With the fucking hammer, too. The lady who plays the old woman in the opening scene would later play the Deadite possessed lady in the pilot episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead. Every girl in the leading cast is a scream queen. Jane Levy gained more recognition with Fred Alvarez's next film, Don't Breathe. Elizabeth Blackmore is best known for The Vampire Diaries, and Jessica Lucas previously appeared in The Covenant, Cloverfield, and Amusement.
So we got a horror movie cast.
Hell yes. Back when the remake of the original film was in development in 2013, Ashton Kutcher and Marlon Wayans were considered for the role of Ash.
I can see that, but they got to make it. It's got to be way campier.
Yes. If
one of those two are in it.
This is the only Evil Dead film to be over 90 minutes. Now,
what is it?
Like 97.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I didn't think this movie was long at all.
It's not.
Okay.
Now Playing Podcast, which we've said a couple times here, reviewed Evil Dead. The film received 2 recommendations and 1 not recommended.
We should start putting what our podcast says on
IMDb?
Yeah, on the trivia and facts.
Hell yeah, we should. It's a good idea. Director Fred Alvarez stated that his favorite scene in the movie is one where David has to bury his sister to free her from the demonic possession. In order to help Fernandez with his performance, Levy was really buried alive in the grave below him with plenty of safeguards, of course, to prevent her from suffocating. This was done so that Fernandez would show genuine apprehension and try to get Levy out of the sand as fast as possible.
The old Undertaker trick.
It's just crazy that people sign up to be buried alive for real.
I would not.
That's fucking crazy.
I would not. I am claustrophobic to the nth degree.
In the original script, at the end, when David is grabbing the car keys and Mia's waiting in the living room, Eric is standing behind David as Eric's deadite form has not yet been killed. But Olivia and Natalie's deadite forms come back to life as well, and the 3 dead group members and their deadite forms begin chasing David and Mia to the front door.
I didn't need that.
Nah. And I know you didn't make it this far in the movie, but I did just to see it because I'd already read this trivia. After the credits, you see a silhouette of a man looking off to the side. He then says groovy and breaks the fourth wall by looking at the audience. It's Bruce Campbell from the original Evil Dead. Many hardcore fans have viewed the scene as the official seal of approval for the movie.
No, I didn't say it. No, I didn't say it.
It was fucking cool.
There was a post-credit scene in the remake of Evil Dead.
All it was is Bruce Campbell saying groovy and then looking at the screen.
All right,
it was awesome. But yeah, that's my trivia and facts. I had a lot of fun looking up the trivia and facts.
You know what time it is now, right?
It's movie impersonation time, and I really want to know what we're doing. Oh, duh, possession voice.
Yeah. Demonic possession voice.
All right. Go, BJ.
Jacob, I want a cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke, 6-piece chicken nuggets, and an egg roll.
Possession voice is hard because they always do audio effects to it and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, it is harder than I thought it was going to be.
BJ, give me some queso. I need to bathe in queso. The heat of the queso reminds me of hell, and I need to bathe in queso before I fucking kill these little bitches.
That was way better than mine.
Cool.
I didn't think it would be that hard. When I was trying to do it, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. They use audio effects to do demon voices. It's not just someone back there going,
you want to suck your cock, boy? Hey, pretty boy. That was better.
Yeah, you should have had your fist to your throat doing it. Yeah, fist to your throat. That's what she said. Final thoughts on the movie in general.
It accomplished its goal as a scary, gory, possession Halloween movie that has every trope you'd ever want in a horror movie.
Are you glad we watched it?
Yeah. I'm glad we watched it because even though I liked The Hitcher better, this is more what I think of when I think of Halloween horror movies.
So you're going to rewatch The Hitcher. Are you going to rewatch Evil Dead?
Depends. If I rewatch Evil Dead, it's not going to be by myself.
Okay. You're going to be showing somebody it because they're into horror movies.
Right.
Okay.
7.5.
7.5.
7.5.
My final thoughts on this movie is it's great. Every time I've seen it, the only reason it's not as good as the first time is because the first time was in theaters. You very rarely ever beat a theater viewing.
No.
This movie for me gets a 9.2. This movie is incredible to me. I love this movie. And I see myself rewatching it at least 3 more times.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I can see you liking this movie because, like I said, it's the Expendables for horror.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Should they remake this movie? That's a remake of a movie.
Yeah, and that's a weird question when it comes to this movie.
And I think so. I mean, like Sam Rami said, it's the perfect movie for a new generation of horror fans to do something, even if it's not different, to up the ante like this one did.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with that. With the the old movies that they remake and just kind of modernize, and they're like, look, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here.
And I can even see a remake of this movie going somewhere different where they don't use so much blood. And they try to do it the possession differently. I don't know, but I'd be down for it.
Yeah. Show a set of titties or a dick.
Oh, you have to show a set of titties.
Yeah,
or a dick.
Either one.
Show us your dick, Michael Douglas. Almost let that one pass up. Fucking douchebag.
I can't wait until the second Michael Douglas movie we do.
Me too. That'll be a lot of fun. Good and bad IMDb reviews. And let me tell you, BJ, last week I had that great 10 out of 10 review where they just kept saying great, 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 great. I think
the one that Tony the Tiger wrote?
Yes. I think this 10 out of 10 review might be the best one I've ever read.
Okay.
It's by M. Galt 1594312, titled Basically Porn.
Okay.
This massive, wrinkly black dildo came out of some bird's mouth.
That's a strong start.
Yes. This massive, wrinkly black dildo came out of some bird's mouth and then crawled up the other queen. Pretty good. And according to IMDb, I need at least 10 lines for my movie review to be submitted, but I've pretty much summed it up already. So here's a recipe for flapjacks. Ingredient search 10, 125 grams butter or margarine.
Oh, he's actually given a recipe for flapjacks?
100 grams dark brown sugar, 4 tablespoons golden syrup, 250 grams rolled oats, 40 grams saltines or raisins. Method prep, 15 minutes. Cook, 30 minutes. Ready in 45 minutes. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius, gas mark 4. In a saucepan over low heat, combine the butter, brown sugar, and golden syrup. Cook, stirring occasionally until butter and sugar have melted. Stir in the oats and saltines until coated. Pour over a 20 centimeter square baking tin. The mixture should be about 2 to 3 centimeters thick. Bake for 30 minutes in the preheated oven or until the top is golden. Cut in the squares and leave to cool completely before removing from tin to serve.
I would just like to say that's the shortest intro to a recipe I've ever seen on the internet.
I had
I don't know what to say.
I had so much fun when I read that review. I read it like 2 or 3 times. I was like, what the fuck?
You gonna try those flapjacks?
Fuck yeah, I'm trying those flapjacks. This massive, wrinkly black dildo came out of a bird's mouth and then crawled up the other quine.
I like how he's like, I've said all I need to say about the movie. After that, after I described 6 seconds of this movie, that's all I need to say.
Here's a recipe for flapjacks. And then did it. You didn't expect me to keep going.
No, I didn't expect him to actually write a recipe for flapjacks in an IMDb review.
Oh, now for my 1 out of 10.
You're not excited about this,
Oh
are
no,
you?
it's pretty good. It's
All
just not as good as Flapjack's massive wrinkly black dildo.
Yeah.
By Neurospace Studio 10, titled Campbell Rami. Why?
Oh man, the capitalizations.
Yes. Sam Rami and Bruce Campbell, why did you endorse this crap? Why? 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 Ah! The betrayal! Ah! The sacrilege! This movie is a great lesson on how to destroy a classic and ruin what most hold dear and regard as one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Everything good about the original is taken away, and everything bad about contemporary horror movies is added in. If you're a Justin Bieber fan, or are in a generation thereabouts...
Why is he throwing shade at the Biebs?
No idea. And not... Or in a generation thereabouts, you should find it awesome. The rest, make sure you stay away. Can somebody please make an original CGI free latex-filled campy
what a
horror
weird
film
spot
again?
to stop the yelling.
I know. It's time to, I don't know, maybe look to Niagara and Nollywood because Hollywood is finished as far as originality goes. ...
Niagara.
No idea. Niagara and Nollywood.
That's definitely Nigeria.
Wow. I am kind of stoned.
I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Is Nollywood's not real, right?
I think he means Bollywood.
Yeah, but that's India, not Nigeria.
No, I know, but it can be Nigeria and Bollywood.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, because the N and the B are really close in the keyboard.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, Nigerians.
Not Niagarans.
Not. Yeah, I'm
Niagara Nights.
Niagara Nights, I made y'all feel more excited than you actually are. I mean, you got the cool waterfall, so. Niagara, it's Nigeria, dumbass. Should people watch this movie? The answer is yes. The only people that shouldn't watch this movie are ones that actively do not like horror movies. If you just aren't a horror movie fan but can watch them sometimes, watch this movie. It's fun.
Yeah, it is a gory one.
Yeah. So yeah, and if you're that person that likes to watch horror movies every once in a while, but not gory ones, also don't watch this.
Yeah, this isn't a recommend to everybody. No horror movie is.
Yeah.
Maybe Silence of the Lambs might be the only like horror movie that I would actually recommend to everyone.
I might recommend The Hitcher to everybody.
Yeah, okay. I can see that.
Yeah. But you're right. Most like 99.9% of horror movies aren't going to be recommended to everybody. This fits that bill.
Yeah, and you know what you're getting into. That's the beauty of this movie.
Yep.
You'll know, okay, I will like this or I won't.
Yep. Well, that was us at I Remember My First Time. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And the cool thing is we're posting again.
Hey!
We took a break. Our viewership showed.
Yeah.
Next week, BJ, what do we have?
We've got one of my favorite genres of movie. Our first heist movie.
Is it our first heist movie?
It's our first heist movie.
It is our first heist movie. Cool.
The Marky Mark, Mini Cooper, Charlize Theron classic, The Italian Job.
Oh, God, another remake. I fucking love it.
It's on Netflix, right?
Yes. Watch on Netflix. Join us next week. Hope you enjoyed the Halloween episode of Evil Dead.
Bye.